Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Way the Brush with me, your host, Chris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey, you get off my lawn. Way the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. Meaning, if you're a brand new viewer, we do delve into a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, if you're a first-time viewer, of course, you can always ask your questions in the chat or down below. Of course, you can always send your questions if you're watching after the fact. You can always send your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's my email address, and of course, you can ask your questions there. And of course, if you're sending pictures along with your question, or you just want to show off what you're working on, or you want help with the color scheme, what have you, send pictures as attachments. Don't send them as links off to other sites, because that's just a pain. And oftentimes there's a bunch of ads on those sites, and it's just, it's annoying. It's better if you send it as an attachment in the email. Of course, you can also join us on waythebrush.com. That's the central hub of all this silliness. Has links to the painting, the social medias, the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also Discord. Discord's been fantastic. Discord has been really fun. I highly recommend it if you've never done the Discord thing before. Can I pull it up? Of course not. It's not going to come up. Not on the first try, anyway. Yeah, that should be it. Wonder why it's not doing it. Oh, there we go. Anyway, there's our Discord page. We have many channels. You can see on the left there, we got the Welcome Center, the General, the Questions and Answers, completed mini showcase, work in progress, terrain, future video ideas, Patreon paint along, padded cell for Gim. That's kind of an inside joke. List discussion, games, music, and what we're reading, and of course, TVs and movies, and finally, the monkey trade swap. Oh, and then there's also another channel below that as well. That's just basically for when the monkeys are discussing other matters and what have you. But Discord's a lot of fun. Ask your questions there. Myself and the monkeys, very knowledgeable folk, and more than willing to help you with your painting questions. And yeah, so Discord's been really great. Of course, waythebrush.com also has links for this show as well. One of the pages has both these things going on at the same time. Has links for the t-shirts. If you want to get yourself a Way the Brush t-shirt, I have this design and also the little monkey fella right down there as a t-shirt design. And of course, they always help with the sales, and they just help the cause. And of course, if you want to look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this universe, they're wearing a Wear the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you buy yourself a t-shirt, be sure to send a picture of yourself in the t-shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine. The Monkey Shrine is just basically a collection of pictures of you guys, and it's just a fun little gathering spot. You guys can kind of see what each of the little monkeys look like. I don't know. I don't think I have them labeled, so you can probably try and do a guessing game as to who's who kind of thing. But yeah, so where am I? Is that the usual? No, that's not the usual spiel. Jeez Louise, I'm really slow today. I don't know why. I think because I woke up late. Of course, waythebrush.com also has links for the patron. Big thank you to my patrons. They are, without a doubt, the reason why I can afford to pay for all these upgrades and upkeeps of all these things, like the website and all that. And so it's been fantastic. And of course, if you're thinking of Patreon support, you just click the link at waythebrush.com. There might be a link in the description as well. Every dollar helps, and it's a lot of fun. I only ever charge for Way the Brush, so usually it's about four episodes a month. I only ever charge 4 times a month. So you can kind of work out, what supporting would cost, right? Just to, make it easy. No surprises, right? No, it's a hidden show. You got to pay for it now. Nothing like that. Just straight up, weigh the brush. That's all I'm asking for. Funding for this. Because, this show really is all about you guys and helping you guys and answering your questions. And so, it's like a give-take kind of thing, right? So... And, of course, a big thank you to Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. Really lots of fun. If you love yourself some beer and some Blood Bowl, definitely stop by his channel. We always give thanks to him because he's the one who created the email jingles before each of the email segments. And, they put a smile on our face every time we listen to it. And, makes the show a little bit more fun. And, of course, big thank you to him for dedicating some of his time out of his busy day to create those. So, where are we in these comments? I'm like way behind here. I can see Jim White. Hello, everyone. Hello. Sir Peanut Butter. Morning, monkeys. Steve McDemon. Good evening. GeoFits over on Twitch. Yo, Kris. Dark Commission. Hi, Kris. Hi, all. Oof, I can't even. Man, I'm having a hard time today. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Monkey Time. Knitfink. Hello, everyone. Hello, Knitfink. Fear School, morning everyone. Ramv, hey you monkeys, hey you Kris. G Squared, hi monkeys, hey Kris. Ishyab, aloha Kris and the monkeys. Able to catch the show for a little bit today, but glad to do so. Best of December to everyone. December is a fun month. It's also a tough month for some. Mainly because, shoveling snow sucks. If you don't have to shovel snow, then, be thankful. GeoFits over on Twitch. Last time I was working on building 30 Drukhari boys. Today, I'm working on painting 30 Drukhari boys. Very cool. Good luck. Greenleaf Terrain. There he is. Is this Way of the Painting auxiliary brush? Of course, he is pointing to the fact that for some of you guys, I don't know if you all know, I would assume you all do, but I don't try not to assume. New show for mini wargaming, painting auxilium. Anyway, new painting show on Twitch. It's Twitch only show. And we're gonna be running with that well into the foreseeable future, and it's it's kind of like this, but probably a little straighter, if that's the word. Whereas we can go really off the rails on this one. So, painting auxilium is a little bit more, we'll say straighter, if that's the right way of saying it. Old Man Logan. Hello, Kris. Hi, chat. About to get on the road, so we'll be listening in. Cool. Where are you going, old man? Where are you going? Going somewhere far? Of course, who knows what we'll be talking about today? We can talk about anything and everything. We can expect upcoming chapter approved coming up. We've got brand new models. Forge World put out a bunch of consoles and more 30K type stuff, more Blood Angel stuff. I think they look fantastic. The models look great. The consoles look pretty cool. Blood Angels always look really darn cool, And aside from color schemes, the way Blood Angels always kind of look is how I'd imagine Emperor's Children looking, as far as 30K is concerned. With fine ornaments over their armor and filigree and things, and very kind of fanciful looking kind of armor versus which is described as Death Guard, where they're very simplistic, minimal, and just not concerned with looking overly fancy or anything like that, right? Which is really cool. So I've never played 30K. I know it uses 7th edition rules, but I've never played 30K. I've been asked a few times what army I do. I'd most likely go Imperial Fists, just because I like Crimson Fists, and I think I would probably do a Battle Company like under the lead of Alexis Pollock, and having, you know, just all of them, just kind of this, you know, breacher kind of army. Apparently breachers suck, but I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I'd plays it. Aaron Seach, hello Kris and the monkey brethren. Greenleaf terrain, yeah, chat. Let's get our curves on. Let's get our curves on. That must be one of them expressions them kids are saying these days, because I don't know what that one is. Ebb and Flow, what's up, everybody? Sir Peanut Butter, I swear I'll die of old age before Forge World gets to my legion. Why? What's your legion? What's your legion, Sir Peanut Butter? If I had to guess, Dark Angels? Because there's like nothing for Dark Angels right now. Not that I know of. Oh, and they revamped back to the Forge World pre-heresy stuff. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it, but they revamped the old Rogue Trader style land speeder. Basically, where like there's nothing in front of the Marines. It's just the Marines like just riding rockets essentially. It's really awesome, and I like the fact that they're taking like those old classic designs from Rogue Trader and they're incorporating them into 30K. It's a lot of fun and it's really cool. Aaron Seach, with the new Gilliman model coming out, the new Gilliman model, I have hopes of getting Pedro Cantor in Primaris armor. With the new Gilliman model coming out, Gilliman, or do you mean Calgar? Mine is Calgar. Because I didn't think Gilliman was getting a model again, because we just got a big model of him. I don't know. Maybe. Eldari Lamborghini. Hello, monkeys. Hello, Eldari. Sir Peanut Butter. It's Darkest of Angels. Yeah, so Dark Angels. Okay. Yeah, they haven't done anything for Dark Angels, have they? Maybe they're just trying to wrap their head around like what they would look like. You know, not make them look like 40K Dark Angels, right? But make them look a little bit, you know, different. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea why the first chapter is the last chapter, right? I mean, I have no idea. So maybe write a letter. Write a letter to Forge World saying, "Where are my Dark Angels?" Maybe get all the Dark Angel players together, form a coalition, and march on Warhammer World or Warhammer GWHQ. Have all the Dark Angel players in one spot. We demand Dark Angels, you know? That kind of thing. Maybe they'll do it. Maybe. Probably not. But, you know, here's to hoping. Raziel, never fear, Raziel's here. Never fear, never fear. Raziel, Dark Angels are my most favorite as well, followed by Blood Angels and Ultramarines. You know, it's being fan of Ultramarines. It seems like such a taboo amongst wargamers, amongst 40K players, right? Ew, you like Ultramarines? But there's got to be a ton of you guys out there who love Ultramarines, who play Ultramarines. Because, I mean, Ultramarines are the poster boy of Warhammer, right? Poster boy of Space Marines, I should say, really. And Warhammer. And, you know, everything is always, they're always expanding upon, like, Ultramarine designs and looks and things like that. And so, I mean, like, either they're responding to sales or they're pushing that on everybody. And I'm likely to suspect it's, you know, they're responding to sales, that there's so many Ultramarine players out there. Yet, you know, it always kind of feels like, ugh, Ultramarines. Ew, you play Ultramarines? It's like, you know, I'm trying to think of like the most bland thing you can do, you know? I can't think of it right now. I just, you know, like what's the most boring choice to make? You know, you go to a dinner and you you get salad. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's something along those lines, you know. It's ultramarines, yuck. You know, blood angels, fine, right? Because blood angels, you know, they kind of have that light and dark to their background. You know what I mean? Like they're good guys, yet they have their dark secrets, and you know, like, you know, because of the thirst, are they tainted? You know, I mean, the Primarch already had wings. I mean, that's kind of a mutation to begin with, right? So, yeah. But who knows? John J. Hey, y'all, from the Porcelain Throne. Nasty. That's nasty, John. That's nasty. Sir Peanut Butter. Well, 30k Ultras are actually interesting. Okay, yep. Right. I forgot we were on the topic of 30k. I was thinking like 40k Ultramarines, right there. Well, we're the good guys. But yeah, Ultramarines, yeah, in 30k. Now, mind you, I'm only into book 5. Book 5 of the Horus Heresy series. And so far, it's Fulgrim, for anybody who's wondering what book 5 is. It's Fulgrim. It's about the Emperor's children. And I'm just having a hard time getting into it. I don't know what it is. I'm not grabbed by it. I think because it kind of begins really kind of boring. It's about these artists and sculptors and, you know, and how magnificent Emperor's children are. And then, of course, once it starts getting into the fighting and they're fighting these lizard dudes, it gets a little bit more readable. But, yeah, I don't know. I was initially having a really, really hard time getting into it. I was just kind of, bleh. Come on, let's go. Space Marines. I want Space Marines. Give me Space Marines. And so, yeah, but yeah, I'm only on book 5. I've only started the Horus Heresy. I mean, like, you know, Horus Heresy's been around, like, generation now, almost. And, yeah, I'm just on book 5 now. Book 4 was great. The first 3 were awesome. Book 4 was awesome, which was The Flight of the Eisenstein. Stein. And now I'm on to Fulgrim, and yeah, I'm kind of chugging through that one right now. Just, you know, I don't know, it didn't grab me. You know what I mean? Like most times, you know, when you start off a book, you kind of have a hook, right? It's like, ooh, something exciting going on. Or because it's the past, right? It's something else they could have alluded to in the past that links up, right? Immediately give me the link up, and then we continue on with the story. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm starting with a whole new book, you know, not book 5, right? So, anyway. Oh, comments are flying by now. Oops. Serpent butter. Well, oh no, I already read that. John J. Spaghetti with butter sauce. Spaghetti with butter. Why are you talking about that when you're on the can, man? That's nasty. Nasty, John. I didn't realize you're so nasty. Daria Lamborghini. Chicken fingers equals Smurfs. That's a reference I don't get. Chicken fingers is Smurfs. Chicken fingers? Chicken fingers. Yeah, I read that right. I don't know. Oh, Eldari. Always a safe choice, but never a fun choice. Ah! Right, we're talking about going out to dinner. Right, you get the chicken fingers. It's like, I'll have the chicken fingers, right? Safe choice, nothing daring, not adventurous. I got you. Right. Yes, exactly. That's exactly. You hit it right on the head, Eldari. Sorry, I'm, again, a little dense today. Raziel, it's a misconception that Ultras are bland. And I like those armies for both 30k and 40k. Well, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. And I personally have nothing against Ultramarines. All I'm saying, though, is that it seems to be a perception out there that, you know, Ultramarines, Vanilla Marines, boring, bland. You know what I mean? And, you know, but I mean, does Games Workshop push all this Ultramarine stuff on us? Or are they responding to sales? Because Ultramarine players, like among Space Marine players, Ultramarine players are the most numerous, right? So, who knows? I don't know. I don't have those numbers. I can't say. Dang, this thing's not staying up today. I don't have those numbers, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, excuse me. Jim White at Eldari. So paint them ketchup red. Aaron Seach, my bad. It's Calgar that is coming out in Primaris armor. I'm hoping Pedro comes out in Primaris. One can only hope. I would too. If they do like, if they do I mean, I can't see why not, because see, here's the thing, and I mean, like, I still hold to this, that GW will change the scale. Space Marines, like regular 40k Space Marines, even the 30k ones, they're gonna change the scale. Primaris, because now they've introduced the fluffiness that regular Space Marines can be upgraded to Primaris, right? So now basically they're saying that every chapter, new and old models, they all can be Primaris. They're saying that everything can be Primaris. So they're softening the blow. See, they're not doing it like they did with Warhammer Fantasy, right? Where Warhammer Fantasy, they pissed everybody off with that one. Well, all the fantasy players, 40k players didn't care. And, you know, fantasy players, you know, it was open revolt, right? It was like, you know, people were going nuts. They were burning their armies in the streets. My God, there was bedlam. It was chaos and bedlam in the streets, and the world was going crazy. And it was, you know, it was a hell of a time to be alive, really, you know. And so, you know, and Games Workshop went, oh, you know what, geez Louise, that might have been a bad choice. And they might have said geez Louise, I don't know, but they went in, and now they're slowly creeping the scale creep, right? Because with the previous edition, right, there were so many imitators out there of Warhammer Fantasy, right? Mantic, and well, Mantic's not an imitator, I mean, like, but there were so many things that were like Warhammer Fantasy out there. And so, because I think of the sting of, you know, that chapter house ruling, that they said, you know what, we're going to make everything RIP. We're not going to do anything that is even similar to anybody else's that anybody can creep on, so that in case anybody does encroach onto our IP, we can hammer them and crush them and, you know, have justice. Right? So, that's most likely the situation. I have no idea. That's speculation. But, yeah. And I mean, you know, like, that's fine. I mean, any smart company that wants to continue to, you know, control and make interesting things and control their IP, that's a smart way to go. You know, it'd be foolish not to, right? And so I think they're doing that with 40k, obviously, because the name change and stuff like that, and now they want to introduce that scale creep, because there's a lot of things that are imitated in 40k, and you know, going for that smaller scale, whereas if once you bump that scale, you make all that stuff kind of irrelevant, especially if the new sculpts are a lot better looking. And you know, I like Primaris Marines. I like the look of Primaris Marines. They look way better to me, and the height difference in comparison to everything else in 40k makes complete sense. The other thing, though, I suspect is Eldar will get a bump, and I think that's what's going to happen next too. Is you're going to see Eldar become a little bit bigger. Because the Harlequins, it's kind of hard to say, because they're all jumping around. They're all on those you know, ribbons and stuff like that, or, you know, all that stuff. But if you look at, like, the Vizark and what is it, Yvrine? Anyway, if you look at the Vizark is big. And if you look at the new Autark, who's kind of like coming in with the wings and he's like landing and stuff, like that, you know, he's bigger. If you compare him to like a Guardian, he's huge in comparison to a Guardian. So I think Eldar will join the scale creep as well. When and if they ever decide to update Eldar. Raziel, Fulgrim is a bit slow, but it pays off in a huge way. Does it? It better. I'm holding you that, Raziel. It better get interesting. It better get good, and it better just blow my hair back. I better be reading it like, you know, holding it and just, you know, my hair just like going back. Actually, I'm not even reading it from a book. I'm reading it from on my phone. I got all the digital downloads. It was a humble bundle for like $5 for like 15 of the first 15 of the Horus Heresy books, plus a bunch of other little odds and ends. And I was like, $5? I'm in. I'm a big old cheapo, and I mean, like, 15 books, that's a pretty darn good deal. So yeah, I bought the first 15 like that. If I really enjoy them, which I do, I may pick up hard copies or omnibuses of them just to have, you know, because, you know, they're just such good books. And I fully encourage people to read. And I'm hanging low again. What the hell's going on here? cylinder won't stay. Anyway, Sir Peanut Butter, 5 books down, 30-ish to go. I think it's like damn near 50 books, I think, of Horus Heresy. It's quite a few, anyway. Raziel, I'm near the end of Betrayer now. I don't even know where Betrayer is in the series. I could not tell you. Norkel Todd, good morning, Kris. I'm a new airbrusher, and I'm going to try spraying Pledge Clear for the first time. Do I need to thin it? No. Pledge Clear. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Unless, of course, you're just saying it's clear, because I don't think they call it clear. I think it's just Pledge. It used to say with Future Floor Shine, but that was back when the companies merged, I do believe, or they were bought out by Pledge, or something along those lines, right? They acquired them anyway. And it used to say, but now I'm pretty sure the new bottles just say Pledge, and it should be just Floor Shine. I think it's something like that, right? No, I don't thin it down, and you only fill up a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way when you're glossing a model, and when you're airbrushing it onto a model, it'll look kind of matte at first. Don't be fooled, okay? Put a nice even layer. Once you see the surface looks like it's evenly coated, stop and continue going around the model, okay? This is going around the model apparently. And because what's in that floor shine is it's got what they call a self-leveling quality. So basically what happens is all those little beads of the Pledge land on the surface, but then after a few seconds it all kind of fans out. If you can imagine, like tiny little bubbles landing on the surface, and then they all start fanning out, and then they provide a sheen onto the surface. So it looks matte at first, but give it a second and it'll become gloss. And that's usually after you've gone past with the airbrush. Don't oversaturate it, because then you kind of have to just quickly give the model a snap to knock the excess off, or use the airbrush to just kind of, just the airflow, just to knock the excess off. Because, yeah, you don't want to flood any of the details and anything like that. So, again, be cautious as you're going around. Pay attention to how it looks on the surface as you're laying it, because as you take it away and give it a couple seconds, you'll see it becomes glossy like. It won't be super glossy, because, I mean, like, if you have, like, say, too much primer on the model, which ends up kind of, like, just soaking in things, you'll see that that gets soaked in. So if your model's heavily primed, you know what I mean? Like, if the paint is chunky and thick, yeah. But, I mean, if you've got a nice, smooth, even base coat and everything like that, and you're great in all those aspects, and you lay it down, yeah, just be cautious. And if you've never used this stuff before, yeah, thin layers all the time and slowly build up, because it has that self-leveling. And if you do many little layers, you can get a perfectly smooth surface that'll look like glass on that surface. So if you want, like, canopies, or if you just want a model surface that look like glass, you can do it with this stuff, because, yeah, it takes like probably like 6 to 10 layerings, but you're doing thin layers every time. Always thin layers. Do you need to thin it? No, you do not need to thin it. It's really, really watery. It goes right through the airbrush. I use a Patriot 105 all the time for laying this stuff down. I'm sure a smaller needle could run it just fine, because it is really thin and watery. And of course, when you clean the brush, be sure to clean the brush. I always use Windex with ammonia. Just use that. That should be good enough. And just clean the bowl, and spray the cleaner through, and yeah, you should be good. Make sure you clean after though, because when that stuff dries and it cures, whatever, it can be quite thick, especially if you've left it a little bit on the brush. Because one time I left a little bit, like it was a drip on the outside of my brush, and I didn't know it was there, because it's clear, right? And and then all of a sudden I noticed, like, after it dried, it was like this hardened thing on the outside. It kind of just popped off, but still, I was like, oh, good thing I didn't forget anything that was in my brush or anything like that, right? So, yeah. Jabba's Left Nut. Book 5 gets better because it ties in with Istvan. Cool. Jim White. Dear Kris, what paints would you mix to match the color of ketchup? What colors would I mix to match the color of ketchup? Oh, man. Really, ketchup is about that secondary quality of texture as well. It's got a slight texture. Good ketchup, anyway. The color of ketchup. That would probably be a mixture of, like, a heavy gloss, Mephiston Red, and Evil Sun Scarlet. I would mix Mephiston Red and Evil Sun Scarlet because it almost starts to teeter onto the crimson side of things, but it's still pretty, you know, Fire Engine red. I wouldn't use any other colors other than those two, something like that in GW. And I would give it a heavy gloss base. And of course, if you want it to have the consistency of ketchup, you know, yeah, a heavy gloss base. There's products out there like Liquitex's gel mediums. If you added the gel medium to it, you would get that thicker consistency where it would be like ketchup. So, I know you're asking to be funny, but I was giving you a real answer. Jabba's Left Nut, plus some good characters. Raziel, GW responds to sales is the main reason Space Wolves get so much love. Yeah. Raziel, I'm stoked for Primaris chapter upgrades for the old guard. Primaris, Dante, Azrael, etc. Cool. Johnny Chop Chop, Way of the Brush, episode 229. Kris explains the science of fantasy war. The science of fantasy war? Eldari, the Vizark is a thick boy. He is thick. Old Man Logan, nobody wants new Eldar. Shut up. How about you just keep your opinions to yourself? Raziel, Eldar definitely supposed to be taller than humans, roughly similar height to regular Astartes? Don't know. Just not the weight or toughness. Yeah, Eldar are supposed to be taller, but I mean, like, they got lankier proportions, right? They're yeah, it's like, but are they supposed to be tall Space Marines? I'm not sure, you know. I mean, in the old lore, it was, you know, not really, you know, said like so much, you know, so I don't know. Anthony B, what did I miss? Not too much. I'm still just kind of rambling on. Old Man Logan, I posted a link in the general with tons of great info on Pledge. Okay, there we go. On the general, I think you mean Discord? Like I said, Discord has been fantastic for anybody who's not joined us on Discord. Yeah, Discord has been fantastic. And of course, I was always thank you. That's a big thank you to Aqua, our fella from Ireland, a young fella who put me onto that one. Raziel, Betrayer is book 24. Jeez Louise. Fun fact, it is already 6 years old as well. So we're both behind. Man, I'm really behind then. Yeah, because like the first books were like 03, wasn't it? 02 or something like that. It's a long time ago anyway. Long time ago. In a galaxy far, far away. No, wait, wrong game. Where am I? John J. at Kris. For your chair, cut a piece of PVC pipe wide enough to fit around the chair pole and use a metal hose clamp to tighten it back up. I did it to mine years ago. John, that's an excellent idea. Excellent. But you know what? I'm more likely just to go get a new chair. Because that as excellent as an idea as that is, too much work. Couldn't be bothered. Anthony B, episode 229, Thick Tips with Kris. I kind of like that one. Because, you know, Kris is all about what's thick. I don't know. I don't know. That sounds horrible. I'm going to go with that one for now. Because that one's pretty darn good. It's kind of like Starship Troopers. We'll use that until either it gets killed or something better comes along. I used to always love the Lieutenant. Michael Ironside, right? He's a great actor, but in Starship Troopers, you know, I just, you know, just love the way he delivers the lines, and he's just so gruff, and you know, yeah. He's a great actor. He's an underappreciated actor, I think, Michael Ironside. He always gets put into these very, you know, one-dimensional type characters, but, you know, he's good in them. Anyway, NorCal Todd, it's Pledge Floorshine. Thank you for answering my question. Yeah, no problem, NorCal. Or Todd, NorCal Todd. Anyway, I don't know if you're part of our Discord group, but join us on Discord because we share information like this all the time. And of course, we also, you know, just talk craziness. I don't know. There's a lot of craziness. I posted something the other day and people were already on talking about hentai tentacles and stuff. And I was like, whatever. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is where we're at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, good. Good for them. Because, I mean, like, you got to get up pretty darn early to, you know, start with enthusiasm about tentacles. Where am I here? John J. Did Blizzard completely rip off Space Marines for StarCraft 2? No. I don't think so. They're inspired by. But as the rumor goes, or legend goes, let's say legend. As the legend goes, Blizzard was supposed to make a real-time strategy game for Games Workshop. As the rumor goes, or the legend goes. So that's why it's Marines or humans against Zerg, Tyranids, and Protoss, Eldar. I guess that was going to be like the 3 things. Now, that's legend. I don't know how true that is. If anybody can point me to a past or previous article about the breakdown, but yeah, from what I understand though, that was what was supposed to happen. So StarCraft really was supposed to be a Warhammer 40,000 real-time strategy, like Starcraft, the original Starcraft. From what I understand, that's the legend. I don't know how true that is actually, but yeah. So I'm passing on a legend. I'm not passing on actual truth. It's a legend. I don't know how true it is, but yeah. It could be 100% true. It could be 100% false. I have no idea. That's just how it was recited to me long ago in the caves of, you know, up the mountains. And we were sharing stories around the campfire before the internet. Sir Peanut Butter, Dark Angel's Inner Circle, going to Primaris sounds like heresy to me. Exactly. It's all heresy, right? Primaris, because Primaris, man. That's what Game Space Marines are going to be all about. And it's not even, they're not even called Primaris after that. Or maybe they will. They'll just continue to be named Primaris, right? Primaris Marines. You know? Whatever way sounds like it makes the most sense for Games Workshop to control the internet intellectual property, that's what they're going to do. And rightly so. I can't blame them. Eldari Lamborghini. Eldar stand about a foot taller than a human, but about a foot shorter than a mini marine. And a mini marine? Is that what we call them now? Mini marines? Because see, when you see them next to a Primaris marine, it's like, oh, look at how ever cute. He's so sweet. Oh, he's a little marine. I just want to pinch his cheeks. You know, stuff like that. So, oh, he's so cute. Anyway. Jim White. Thank you, Kris. I have written down the formula in the journal for future reference. Excellent. What formula? I don't remember what we're talking about, Jim. Eldari. Since mini marines are what? 8 feet tall? Yeah, mini marines are supposed to be 8 feet tall. Are they supposed to be? No, I thought they were like 7 feet. Yeah, I guess 8 feet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Jim White. Punny title aptly named. Dark Commission episode 229. Advocating a throwaway society. Yeah, okay. Alright, you got me. Ishab011. Well, gotta go. Be well. Catch you next time. Again, season greeting to all. Let's hope it's a good one. Bye for now. Sammy, he's always a positive fella. And yeah. Unfortunately, Sammy, I'm not quite as positive as you, but I hope it's a good one. I'm just hoping that it's just, yeah, even keel. Nothing too rocky, nothing too, screwed up. Anthony B, I feel like I won the lottery, but I had to share it with 1 million people. Johnny's Chop Shop. Kris, I want to say thank you for spending time with us every Saturday morning. I'm off to go to the real world. I have to go put on pants now. Man, I mean, like, you know, okay, great. Put your pants on. I mean, now I'm kind of concerned that he was sitting with no pants on listening to this. Oh no. Ebb and Flow. Kris, Ironside and Scanners was epic. Yes, I think that's like his first movie, isn't it? Is Scanners? Or one of his first? Dark Commission episode 229. Keep your first mini, throw away your last chair. Yeah, I think so. Reziel, GW, and Blizzard are both ripping off Heinlein. Heinlein? I'm not familiar. Well, the author? Yeah, I mean, like, GW's Warhammer 40,000 initially was, I mean, you could see a lot of the inspirations, right? You could see a lot of the things that were incorporated into, you know, creating the Warhammer 40,000 universe, right? And of course, Warhammer 40,000 was a bit more tongue-in-cheek kind of thing in the Rogue Trader days, in its early creation. You know, it was also in part, you know, kind of Warhammer fantasy set in the far future kind of thing. You know, you could see a lot of the similarities. The rule sets were very similar, and, you know, the universes, they weren't exactly the same, but I mean, you had the Empire of Man, and you know, Chaos Traders, and, you know, you had, you know, all these similar kind of beats on both universes. And of course, you know, like GW, yeah, I mean, like Warhammer 40,000, I mean, like, you can see all the influences in it, you know. And Blizzard, as far as the even the factions themselves, you can see that it feels more influenced by Warhammer 40,000 than anything else. And, you know, like the way the Marines, the Terrans, you know, they're in these armored suits, and, you know, they're screwed in, and they're self-sustaining, and, you know, I mean, it makes the Terran stronger, you know. But of course, the similarities kind of end almost there, right? Because, I mean, you have the siege tanks, and you have like the flyers and stuff, and like the Valkyries are Transformers essentially, and, you know what I mean, like, you have all these different kind of things. But there are also various influences. I mean, like, you know, Zerg, influenced by Tyranids. I mean, you see it the most, I think, in Hydralisks. Hydralisks look like third edition Tyranids, right? But I mean, even then, that you can see like that kind of design is influenced really by Aliens, movie Aliens, right? The Queen and things like that, those kind of shapes, and, you know, so Protoss feels kind of Eldar, because, you know, they're ancient people and they're dying, and, you know what I mean. And then of course they have the advanced crystal technology that, you know, they could teleport in with, you know, these fantastical energies that, you know, and they have immense psychic ability, and, you know what I mean. Like, these things all sound very Eldarish, other than their appearance. Their appearance actually looks a bit like a Tau, really, except with, you know, no mouth. There's eyes and no nose. Do they have a nose? Do Zerg or Protoss have a nose? I don't think they do. I think they're just eyeballs and a straight, you know, face. Either way, you know. But Warhammer 40,000 has the benefit of being around since like 86, 87. So Warhammer 40,000 has the advantage of being around so darn long, right? Because Starcraft didn't come out until what? Mid-90s? Early 90s? Something like that. So, yeah. Geofits. From what I've read, devs on Starcraft were big 40k fans and wanted to make it a 40k licensed game, but couldn't secure the license from the company. I've heard a similar thing. Yeah. So, again, right? It's kind of legend. I mean, like, I think really you would have to find somebody who's been with Blizzard for a long time, or a developer who worked on the original Starcraft, and somebody who was part of GW way back when GW was licensing. Because, I mean, like, GW has licensed other companies for games. I mean, it seemed like SSI, which is no longer around, at least as far as I know, you know, they had no problem securing licenses from GW. So I don't know why a company like Blizzard couldn't secure it. I don't know. But there you are. Even really when you think about Warcraft is Warhammer Fantasy. But I mean, like, again, Warhammer Fantasy and Starcraft or Warcraft, those are all kind of Tolkien universes, right? So, yeah. Anyway. Lord Krabby, sup party peoples, been a while, almost done with school, haven't painted in 2 months. Oh my god, Lord Krabby. No, say it isn't so, man. Get painting. Ebb and Flow, so GW is going to make all of my old Metal Marine squats? Yeah, essentially. And I mean, like, if you have any of those old Metal Marines, compare them to, you know, GW plastics from 10 years ago. Like, current Space Marines, right? Or what are the mini Marines? And you'll see there's a size difference. Those Marines don't stack up to the larger plastic. Even Rogue Trader era plastic Marines. Now, mind you, those guys are all squatting, but still, you know, they don't stack up to those Marines. Those Marines are even bigger. And so now Primaris Marines, you don't look like this comparison to the other Marines, right? So, yeah, all that. Anthony B, episode 229, pants optional. Are they optional? Question mark. Optional? Pants optional? Yeah. I'm wearing pants because every time I've stood up to do my chair, I'm sure you guys have seen a little lower of my half, or my lower half. Lower of my half? English. Learn to speak it. Do you speak it? Dark Commission, episode 229. It's 6 o'clock. My slippers are on and my pants are off. Lord Krabby, these speed freak bikers are stupid detailed. Yeah, they are. Even the new, I like that dragster one. That's really cool. Aaron Seach, Fantasy Flight Games did stuff for GW for years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, they had to part ways because Fantasy Flight was putting out their Star Wars Legion game. Apparently. That's apparently why they split up, was because over Star Wars. The miniature game, because they were directly competing with GW. I don't know how that competes with GW. Because, I mean, I don't know. Who's still playing Star Wars Legion? Who's playing that? Anybody playing that? Anybody play? I've never played it. I've seen it played. Went to Adepticon, and it looked like fun. But it's kind of like, you know, how many times can you fight the Battle of Hoth? Battle of Endor? How many times can you do that? You know? Before you're like, oh, I just want to fight in an oil refinery. You know what I mean? Like, like how many times can you do that, right? I think Fantasy Flight, I think they should have did it in the Clone Wars. I think that's a far richer environment for multi-faction gaming and, you know what I mean, and opportunity for modeling and things of that nature. None. Not going to say the name. Is this the No Pants Party? Is it? It kind of is. I mean, I have no way of checking. Well, no, I don't. I'm not even going to mention it. No, I don't have a way of checking. I have no idea. And I mean, I'm wearing pants. So, I mean, if you don't want to wear pants, feel free. Who am I to stop you? Excuse me. I think it's email time. Isn't it? We're getting close to that time. What time are we at here? Holy moly, it's 10:02. It's email time. Let's do an email. Let me just get everything set up properly here. Oh yeah, we got a good one too. This is a good email. Alrighty, so whatever you gotta do, put your headphones on, turn them up or down, whichever day. But here it comes. Watch out, eardrums. Email time. It's email time. And of course, we always say a big thank you to Guymere Alfer, aka Carl, aka Beer Blood Bowl. That's his channel. Check him out for taking the time to create those jingles that we all know and love. This is from our good buddy GeoFits. Finally got off my rear last weekend and just finished up some Jukari vehicles. Took pictures so I can look closer at places that need touch-ups. Good. That's a good idea. but they're pretty much in a done state. As with my other Drukhari, I've shown off Turbo Dork Ground is Lava, that's the name of the paint, for the vehicle hull, and Turbo Dork Spicy Meatball for the armor on the dudes. And let's have a peek. So this is the it's a Ground is Lava. I'm pretty sure that is a color shift. Yes, that's color shift. That's the one that goes to a red gold kind of thing, I believe. Really, really cool. Here's the fronts. So on the hulls of the vehicle, it's a red gold, and it's Spicy Meatball, which is just a pure red metallic. And I really like Turbo Dork Spicy Meatball. That is a fantastic color. Look at that. Now, it can be kind of hard. Oh, yeah, you see. Okay, here. See how the front looks kind of gold in this picture? That's the color shifting. You see how? Oh, wait, I got to change. Sorry, folks. I got to change screens here. There we go. I messed that up. Let's go back a page. Let's reset this, as it were. So, here's his vehicles, right? He's got color shift on the hulls, Spicy Meatball on the armor of the warriors, which is just a pure red, but it's a color shift on the hulls of the vehicle. And really, this is one of the best ways to go about using these color shift paints, is really for larger surfaces. It looks fantastic on small figures, but you kind of don't want to do anything to the color shift, because really right now there is no really great way of shading or highlighting color shift paints of any sort, any brand, doesn't matter. There's no easy way of doing highlighting what we need. Typically it's used in auto body. That's where this stuff gets created, and it gets used in auto body stuff. And I mean, cars are obviously huge. We don't edge highlight cars, right? We don't paint the cars like we paint miniatures. But with painting miniatures and using this kind of particular paint, it's kind of tough, especially with like the warriors. Like, can you imagine throwing a color shift paint on that warrior and then trying to shade it and highlight it? You end up killing the color shifting ability. And so using it on larger features, like say the vehicles, I would highly recommend. And in fact, you know, if you can tie them into a universal color scheme, kind of like what GeoFits here has done, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I think it's a really great way to show the colors. And you can see here how the nose of the craft is now red. In the previous picture, it was kind of a gold. You can see like there's a tint of gold looking at the front. And then I don't think it's the same model. Or it might be. No, it's not. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter, because photography doesn't really capture color shifting very, very well. It looks like he's laid it on nice and smooth too, on both the warrior and the vehicle. Really nice. You can see on the cowl of the gun on the top here, you can see that the edge, it's gold and it's red closer to the weapon. And that's the color shifting. For anybody who's not used these color shifts before. Yeah, you can see, again, the fronts of the vehicles, because different light sourcings at different angles, it's turning gold on the outer portions, but in the center of the vehicle, you can see it's red. And it's pretty close to the Spicy Meatball. That's that same kind of level of shiny red. Really fantastic. I was harping on last week about, paints and stuff like that. But I mean, like with these Turbo Dark colors, I mean, they're really good. They're about as good as metallics can be in an acrylic range, in my opinion. Especially with color shifting. The color shifting is probably quite a challenge. But very, very cool. Oh, is that it? I think that was it. Yeah, so thank you, GeoFits, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. And of course, GeoFits also was keeping us appraised of his apprised? Anyway, of his efforts in Discord. So anybody who's been, part of our Discord, you would have already probably seen a lot of this. And so, yeah. That was GeoFits. Yes, there we go. Okay. Any other pressing questions at the moment? Is there? Oh, GeoFits has some comments here. Drukhari update. 1 layer of Incubi darkness laid down on the guns of 10 guys. Oh, he's telling us about his work there. The red is Ground is Lava. Is a little more towards purple and darker than Spicy Meatball. Okay. I haven't seen them side by side myself. I've played with the colors lots, but I haven't, done a whole bunch of, things with it. I'm still playing with the colors myself. But I mean, they're fantastic. They're fun. And yeah, if you've not played with the Turbo Dork color shifts, I think he's still got a big sale going on, and I'm pretty sure he is releasing some new stuff too coming up. I might be wrong, but yeah. Sir Peanut Butter. My main problem with Primaris is the lore. I wouldn't have cared if they had just done what they'd previously done and upscaled newer sculpts. But instead, they just created better Marines. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of changed the lore on Marine kind of thing, right? And so now there's this whole, you know, like what happens to the previous chapters of Marines who aren't Primaris, right? And I think that's why they threw in that thing of now the older Marines can get upgraded to be Primaris Marines, where basically, you know, they, I don't know, extend their shins, make them more muscular. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what exactly, you know, they're planning there, but yeah, I think it's just excuses to keep pushing, you know, more Primaris stuff and upping the scale. I mean, I'm all for bigger scale models. I like bigger scale models. It's fun. The only thing that makes it kind of weird though, if with upping the scale, is the game. You know, do you still want to play huge games, 2,000 points with, you know, all these big models and, you know, having a lot of them, right? Because they're always reducing the points and, you know, upping the scale, and so you're gonna have tons of models out there that are big. You know what I mean? And of course that means, you know, more sales, of course, but I don't know. I don't know if I mean, you might as well just go back to like Rogue Trader, where you fought with, you know, a couple characters, a couple squads, and maybe a tank, you know. Lord Krabby, yeah, I played it, but it was too random. It wasn't forward streamlined combat and shooting, which is why a lot of Warhammer players are haters to it. If they fix that along with other factions, it will scare GW because they will have serious competition. With the Age of Sigmar, I mean, Age of Sigmar, it's pretty simplified. It's like 40k. So 40k is very simplified in comparison, right? And I mean, like, Age of Sigmar, when 40k came out, when 8th edition 40k came out, that was like the Age of Sigmar rules, but with all the fixes, right? And so Age of Sigmar now has got to come back up and, you know, get the fixes going, and, you know, and again, it's kind of funny because now Warhammer and Fantasy, which is now Age of Sigmar, but it's, yeah, still the fantasy setting, I suppose, kind of. Both rule sets are back together again, like both being very similar again. They're not exact, but they're similar. Because like back in the day, I mean, like Warhammer Fantasy and 40k, they were the exact same rule set, right? And so it's just kind of funny. Or you're talking about Star Wars Legion. Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, and I mean, Legion sound like fun, but you know, yeah, it's just I think it was a mistake putting it in, you know, the Empire setting, and rather they should have did the Clone Wars. Oh yeah, you were talking about, yeah, Reziel Legion, Kris. Check my previous comment. So I can't read every damn comment. Lord Crab, we were talking about, right? But there's a delay on YouTube. Like, see, on Twitch, it's about a 5-second delay, whereas on YouTube, it's like almost a 2-3 minute delay between what I've said and what you say, and then what you type back and what I see. Yeah, so there's a lot of delay. So especially if a whole bunch of people are talking at once, I'll get lost. It's just nature. Whereas, you know, Twitch, I mean, like Twitch, I'll still get lost in the comments, but at least when I say something, you guys are responding almost immediately after I've said it. For this live streaming, like, this Wade the Brush started on Justin TV, which became Twitch, and I moved from Twitch to YouTube just because at the time it was a little bit easier. But really, I could have just stayed with Twitch the entire time, and now I'm having to, like, kind of rebuild, you know, on Twitch kind of thing, which is kind of funny, but whatever, right? Aaron Seach, the Primaris lore would fit perfectly for a Crimson Fist after the whole Rin's World incident. Yeah. Yeah, that's because that would be how Crimson Fist rebuild the chapter, right? Is, yeah, give us those brand new guys. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, give me a whole bunch of those guys. Dark Commission, the Game Butcher. The Game Butcher. That's funny. That might have to become a thing now. The Game Butcher. Yeah, because I thought we were still on the Age of Sigmar thing, but yeah, we were talking about the Legion, and I can't remember the name. That's how enthralled with it I was. I mean, like, I love Star Wars, and I wish Legion was really awesome, but I mean, like, why isn't Legion in huge popularity? Why isn't Legion? Why aren't people? Because everybody loves Star Wars. Why isn't Legion? You know, everybody clamoring for more Legion. Why is that? For anybody out there who plays the game, I'll give it a sec. In fact, I'll read Raziel's comment here. I was saying we have a group for Legion, but they are pretty biased and mostly Warhammer haters. Legion has only 2 factions, so I can find it really boring. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, like, isn't it 3 factions? Isn't it Rebels, Empire, and now the Scum, or whatever it is? I thought it was 3 factions. But it's mostly predominantly 2 factions, right? Because it's Empire versus the Rebels. I mean, that's Star Wars, right? That's the Star Wars. I mean, that's what the war is about. It's a civil war. It's a galactic civil war, right? It's Empire versus the Rebels. You know? So, you know, that's the heart of the story, right? It's a civil war. And, you know, I mean, like, I suppose, I mean, there's something interesting to tell there, because, I mean, like, you know, if you look at actual recreators of the Civil War, the American Civil War, right? I mean, there's still people today who, you know, reenact and things like that. And so does the wargaming aspect fall within that kind of line of, I don't want to say like thinking or fan, because, you know, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but, you know, because it's kind of like Horus Heresy, 30K, right? People really like that game. And that one is just Space Marine on Space Marine. And people claim that it's very balanced. Right? It's a very balanced game. Well, because it's Space Marine on Space Marine. The 2 sides are pretty much the same. And so you have a bit more of a balanced game system versus, you know, Space Marine versus Orcs, where the compositions and the stats and everything like else vary wildly, right? And so, whereas Space Marine on Space Marine, it's really just compositions and maybe what kind of flavors other armies get. You know what I mean? It kind of changes them up. But otherwise, you know, everybody's weapon skill 4, everybody's bliss skill 4, everybody's strength 4, everybody's toughness 4. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's pretty much on the same playing field. And so Star Wars Legion, again, I have no basis on the game because I've never played it. I've watched it, but I've never played it. And I mean, like, I'm a big Star Wars nut, and I mean, like, you know, I'm not driven to play it. I'm not sitting there going, oh, I have to play it. Mainly because the sculpts, I'm not crazy about the sculpts. The sculpts seem kind of soft to me. They don't look particularly good. I think if they were doing them out of styrene plastic, they'd get much crisper edges on stuff, and they would be able to push. Like, Stormtroopers look a little chunky to me. That's what it is. Stormtroopers look a little chunky to me. They look like old versions of previous sculpts of Stormtroopers and Star Wars miniatures. And I wish somebody would just have the cojones to just do them in styrene plastic. Get them tooled up in proper styrene plastic. That way you can have, you know... But I would prefer them in like a larger scale, like a Legion, but cleaner edges. You know what I mean? I want good, precise details. I want like Darth Vader's cloak. I don't want Darth Vader's cloak to be a big, thick piece of metal or resin. I want it to be a thin little thing, right? So, yeah. So, if Fantasy Flight, you're listening, bite the bullet. Make the things out of styrene plastic. Anthony B, I called you the name Butcher on Mini Wargaming live stream yesterday for a chuckle. Yeah, I know, I saw that. I know. Oh man, if you heard the intro to that one yesterday, I was confuddled. I was almost gonna do the Way of the Brush intro on that one. Oh man, because I'm trying to keep the two separate, right? So, because I mean the one show it is different. The formats of the show are somewhat similar, but what is going to be the content of the show is different for the most part, and the way it's delivered is different. I want there to be a difference between the two, because then, you know, what's the point, right? Lord Krabby, yeah, Raziel's right. Fantasy Flight needs to change their game. Yeah. Aaron Seach, Legion was always to be stuck in that Star Wars rut. You will never get anything new. Star Wars lore not moving forward, and no new factions, even if they did the Clone Wars. Right, but with the Clone Wars, I mean, you can still, you know, you can do multiple eras of Legion troops, right, of the clones. You can also include allies to the Republic, and the Separatists have tons of drones and robots, right? That would be lots of fun. And they also have tons of allies that you could include into the armies. So at least there's lots of flavor there for mixing up your compositions for your armies. Yeah, it's two sides, but the game is always going to be two sides, right? But at least there's, you know what I mean? Like, there's lots of flexibility in the game universe to do whatever you want, right? Whereas Empire and Rebels, I mean, you're always going to see white stormtroopers, right? You're always going to see white stormtroopers, right? Whereas with clone troopers, you can paint them gold, blue, red, whatever, right? You can have the different style era helmets, right? In the various factions of the clone troopers. There's different sculpts, right? So there's lots of opportunity for modeling and for painting in the game, preserving the hobby, which you don't see, you know, a lot of, right? So, yeah. But anyway, where am I? Raziel, you can kind of argue it has 3 factions, but is literally taking 2 factions and splitting hairs to making more. They are now doing resistance and first orders as well as mini war bands. Yeah. Again, I think it's a missed opportunity. I think they should have went big for Clone Wars. And Clone Wars, like, you have more instances. Like, there's way more excuses to fight way more battles with way more even vehicles, right? Because you can even have different kinds of vehicles in that universe. Walkers and robots and, you know, these flying things and the flying craft that they use in Clone Wars. I mean, like, all these kits would have just been fantastic. Everybody would have gobbled those up. I mean, not everybody likes Clone Wars, but, you know, for a game setting, Clone Wars is way better. And then you could have had the Empire and Rebels as later factions, kind of like how Bolt Action with multiple eras, right? So you could have Clone War era, you could have, you know, Empire era, and you have post-Empire era, right? Why not? I don't understand what the problem is here. Lord Krabby, yeah, but make fun narrative if fantasy got their stuff together. Yeah, it would be. Look at Star Wars Rebels. It's a fanfic, but done well. It's canon now, but it can be incorporated into the game as well if they have a narrative function. Yeah, exactly. Right? Hell, like, they could even borrow the style from Clone Wars. How everything kind of looks in Clone Wars, you know, kind of cartoony. They could have just made Clone Wars as a game, you know, as a tabletop game, and just made the sculpts look like the what we saw from the show. The style of art, the art style of the show in miniature form would have worked very, very well, because the polygons in which the characters were created had a very painted look to them. It would have almost tied in perfectly if Clone Wars was made as a tabletop game, because the TV show looked like models brought to life. And the models you painted would have looked painted. And the TV show, they look like models painted. It would have worked. It would have been a great tie-in. It would have made millions. And now Clone Wars is coming back. I don't know if they're doing 1 season, 2 seasons, or what, but I'm excited. I like Clone Wars. Clone Wars is fun. I haven't watched any Resistance, though. But, yeah. Where am I? No, I already read that one. Raziel, I love Infinity, for example. It is a rich game, but I also agree with you, Kris, that the rules can be too complex. For Infinity, I have not played Infinity. I mean, like, I've had Owen explain it to me and describe it. I mean, like, it sounds pretty straightforward. I don't think Infinity is that complex. It's just, you know, a lot of things to be, you know, mindful of. But, I mean, you're not playing huge amounts of models on the table, right? You only ever have maybe, what, 10 models out there? But that's what the game's designed for. It's that small skirmish level, right? And it's got the right amount of complexity to it to keep that interesting. But you throw in 20 models, 50 models, 100 models, right? That game becomes too wild. Just it would chug. You know what I mean? It's like an overloaded PC kind of thing. It's just too much for it to compute. You know. So yeah. Lord Krabby, yes, you're right. I wonder if they get director for Infinity for their game. LOL. Dark Commission, the migration to Legion in my area has diluted the player pool for existing games. Yeah. Again, you know, I mean, like, I don't hear, I personally, I mean, but I mean, like, I'm kind of out of touch as far as what gamer communities are doing right now in our area. When we had the store and everybody was coming, you know what I mean? Like, I was pretty caught up in the local meta, but now I have no idea. I'm hoping once we go to the bunker and we're open to public again, that, you know, brings the community back together, and, you know, then I'll be all caught up again with the local metas and everybody arguing about this or that. Reziel, Clone Wars would be better. You could do Republic and or its individual worlds like Ryloth, etc. And you can also do CIS and or use Techno Union or Nominadian? Anyway. Yeah, you could just do whatever. Like, it would be great. I mean, you could have, like, if you're playing Separatist, you could have droids and then have, you know, what are the guys with the big long tentacles? They're on the same planet as the Calamari. I can't remember what the other people are called, but anyway, you know what I mean? You can have those guys in your faction, right? I mean, like, sky's the limit. Sky was the limit in Clone Wars. It was completely wide open. And again, I think that if they'd have tied in Clone Wars to a miniature game, I think that would have been huge. Lord Krabby, yeah, Resnail, surprising. The Clone Wars has a huge narrative, can open a lot for more battles and stories. Yeah, tons. It's almost limitless. Clone Wars, almost limitless, right? Because post Clone War and pre First Order, you know what I mean? Like, it seems more like the Rebels, it's small skirmishes here and there, right? It's small skirmishes. It's not outright war. Whereas the Clone Wars was a galactic war. Whereas in the middle, it feels more like there were skirmishes and uprisings and, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. It feels more like a time of spies and things of that nature. I mean, Clone Wars as well, but you know what I mean? Like resistance and betrayals and, you know, double crossings and, you know. Yeah, I watched a lot of Rebels too. Rebels was good. I liked Rebels. I'm miffed that they canceled that one. Nathaniel, crap, I'm late. Hi, Kris. Hi, monkeys. Hello. Okay, I'm going to start moving past some of these comments here because I'm way behind. Has her email been read? Yeah, an email has been read. Old Man Logan, Mandalorians. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Mandalorians, right? Because you well, I mean, Clone Wars. Yeah, you could have Mandalorians. You would have Mandalorians on both sides. You could probably have Mandalorians on both sides because they've, you know what I mean? Like, depending on what era you were dealing with, you know, where the Mandalorians were fighting. That'd be awesome. Hell, even an old Republic setting would be cool. Because then you could have the Sith versus the Republic. Or Sith versus Jedi. And have armies of Jedi and Sith fighting. That would have been cool. You know? All these missed opportunities. Reziel, hey Kris, did you see the new Citadel paint trays and hobby cases? I'm suitably underwhelmed, but maybe you see some value. Underwhelmed? Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting system they've created for those cases to carry your paints without the need of foam, right? You can just slot your paints into those little trays, attach them to the case, carry your case around. Sounds very useful for anybody who doesn't have a permanent paint setup, right? That's who that is for. And for anybody brand new to the hobby, I'd imagine it's probably for them as well, because again, you know, you've not made a dedicated paint area, right? It's kind of one of those levels of wargamer you reach, right? A wargamer painter, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you start off in the hobby and you just have a couple paints, and you know your brushes are all messed up and your paint jobs aren't really that fantastic, and then you make a dedicated painting station. Either, you know, you found room in your dorm room, or you've asked your wife for permission, or you know what I mean, something along those lines, and you've made a dedicated room. Then of course, then you start realizing, oh, I think I might need an airbrush, or I need to make a wet palette, or you know what I mean, like, or really start upping my painting level. And then you start to go up there, and then you know what I mean, and you keep kind of going, and it's this whole little hierarchy that you kind of work through as a wargamer painter. But the case is, yeah, I don't see a huge amount of value, but that's not to say that somebody who's in that situation where they need to transport their paints around, that is not the option they're looking for. So, I mean, for me personally, right. But that product is not geared to me. Games Workshop is not looking at painters like us and saying, oh, they need this. No. They're looking at the new people, right? Games Workshop is always looking at the new people, because that's a big market. Lord Krabby. One thing my friend does when we play any Star Wars game is we play John Williams soundtrack in the background. You have to. Yeah, it makes it epic. Yeah, you have to. Like, why are you even playing a Star Wars game if you don't have John Williams playing in the background? Why bother, right? Yeah, exactly. No. And I imagine that'd be fun. I mean, I can totally see playing, you know, on a Hoth board with the speeders and the walkers and having the little trenches, and you know what I mean, like, and then playing the soundtrack for Empire Strikes Back, right? That'd be the best thing in the world. That'd be awesome. But how many times can you do that? That same thing over and over and over. You know, unless of course you don't play that often. Maybe you get to play once a month, twice a month. I could see that having value, you know. But if you get to play like once a week, twice a week, you know, whatever, you probably would get bored after a month or two. And you'd want to play something else and something different, right? So, you know. Aaron Seach, yeah, 50 Jedi versus 2 Sith. Well, no, like in Old Republic, though. Old Republic would be like 50 Sith versus 50 Jedi. That would be cool. Pyre, Captain Daniel. Kris, that tentacle face race is called the Quarren. Quarren? Okay. I know they have a name. I know everything has a Star Wars. Everything in Star Wars has a name, but yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I love Star Wars, and you know I know a lot of background type stuff, but I don't know everything. I don't have like the Star Wars encyclopedia. Maybe I should get that. Maybe I should get the encyclopedia. But I don't have that, right? I'm not at that level of Star Wars fandom. I'm not that fanatical. I'm fanatical. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're talking to a guy who's, you know, sitting here with a lightsaber. Right? So, I do love me some Star Wars. And any excuse to whip it out. And no, that's not going to be the show title. Where am I? JP4WT. Kris, the Turbo Dork gold green color shift paints on the on a Custodes with black Dark Angels green cloak with Warpstone glow highlights. Do you think it's too much and I should stick to regular gold? No. That green gold, that's I think the one I showed with the miniature that I did the painting video on. With dark green, like black with Dark Angels green and then Warp Glow highlights. No, I think that all looked very, 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 very cool. Question becomes, what do you do the little plumes on the Custodes? And, you know, the blades. What are you doing the blades in? You know? You're going with that really gold green. Because the gold green, that color shift gold green, that's really, really cool. It's a fun color. All the color shifts that they're making right now are really, really fun. Highly recommend. if you're staying within water-based acrylics. But yeah. Rezio. Whoa, they make color shift paint? Yeah, I know, right? Turbo Dork? Nobody's heard of Turbo Dork now. That's good though. I mean, like, and you know, I like Turbo Dork, and you know, I've had a conversation or two with the owner, and you know, he seems like a really great guy, and you know, he's got some really high hopes, and I, you know, wish him much success. I mean, he seems to be on the right start right now. And you know, like I was talking about last week's show where I went off on, you know, paint lines. I mean, at least Turbo Dork is bringing something. You know what I mean? They're taking a chance, and I fully support that. I fully support when people take a chance. Innovation. I like innovation. You know, and also a bit of underdog. They're a bit of an underdog, right? And I fully support that. I fully support that. Everybody should, really. Dark mentioned if people started carrying their minis around in old socks, GW would hastily bring out a GW min sock. They may, or they, or hopefully, I would like to think that maybe GW go, you know what, geez, can we provide something better than a sock? And it would still be sock-like, but it might be better than a sock. Aaron Seach, my sons and I totally play the Battle of Endor music when we play X-Wing. Yeah, exactly, right? You have to. If you're playing Star Wars, you have to have Star Wars playing in the background. Star Wars movie or Star Wars music. You totally have to. Otherwise, what's the point, right? It's the whole immersive thing. Reziel, yeah, DC. And if you could buy any normal pair of socks for $3, GW would cost $25. Well, yeah. Because retail's always marked the manufacturing cost up by 3, right? You mark it up by 3. That's the rule. So if it costs $5, they're selling for 15. JP4WT Kris Turbo Dorks gold green color ship paint on the custom. Whoa, didn't I already read that? Throwing me for a loop here. Geofits, if you haven't read the Thrawn trilogy, you should. Even though it's legends now, Timothy Zahn is by far the best Star Wars writer ever, including Lucas. Interesting. No, I've heard a lot about the Thrawn trilogy, and like I wasn't that familiar with Thrawn. I knew he was coming into Rebels back before he came into Rebels, and I mean Rebels really kind of, you know, portrays this really awesome character, and so yeah, I mean he seems like a really awesome character. Anthony, watch where you're swinging your saber. Dr. Santos, hello, hello, hello. Pirate Captain Daniel, episode 229. Any excuse to whip it out. I think we've had that as a show title before. I think. Nathaniel and Kris, episode 229. Whip it out and slap it on. Oh my God. Jim White, Kris, you've not titled the YouTube stream yet, only the Twitch stream. I'm pretty sure I titled the YouTube one. Didn't I? Didn't I? Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Oh, piss off. Yeah. No, it should be changed. I think. I don't know. Refresh. Maybe it shows up. I don't know. These things get goofy on me at times. Reziel, Kris, episode 229. Forever, because you're never turned 30. Oh, you know what? There may not be a show next weekend. What's next Saturday? The 8th? Yes, next Saturday is the 8th. There may be no show next week. There might not be. Now, anybody care to venture a guess as to why? I'll let you ponder it. Aaron Seach, Timothy Zahn should be writing all the movies of the new trilogy. Maybe then they wouldn't suck so hard. It don't knock hard sucking. Dr. Zantos. Thrawn trilogy is the best Star Wars I've read and universally agreed to be the best post-Endor books. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, excuse me. Dark Dimension episode 229, 50 Shades of Saber. Pirate Captain Daniel, agree with Thrawn trilogy. He's my favorite Star Wars character, and the books are amazing reads. Yes, well then I will definitely have to get the Thrawn trilogy because I love me some Star Wars. You know what? I only ever read, I think, one Star Wars book. I've never really read any of the novelizations. I never really went in for the comics or anything like that. Because when I was into comics, it was more X-Men and Predator and stuff like that. But yeah. GeoFits. Yes, over on Twitch. Is it your birthday next week? Yes. Lord Crabber, yeah, Star Wars Rebels did Thrawn justice. They got him straight from the book. Fun fact, the voice actor who plays Klaus from American Dad voices him. Is that really? Really? That's funny. Greenleaf Train, going to be naked. Probably. That's actually a very good possibility. Jim White, it is goofy here. Still no title here in Idaho. Interesting. Nathaniel, his birthday? His birthday? Yeah. Jabba's left nut is because it is the Eldar Pride mark. What? Sticky Diver, episode 229. Whip it out, followed by hard sucking. Exactly. Jim White, is it your anniversary next week, Chris? No, it is not. My wedding anniversary is in the summertime. It is in August. Yeah, it's in August. So we're waiting to be struck down by lightning from the wife. No, it's okay because she almost forgot one time too. So yeah, we're both on the same page. Yeah, it'll be 20, 21, 22 next anniversary for us. Yeah. Some of you guys probably haven't been alive that long. But I've been married that long. Jabba's left nut. Eldar Pride March. Come on, man. What are you guys playing from the Gim playbook of insults here? Aaron Seach, Way the Brush paint line, the first color, Monkey Poo Brown. Monkey Poo Brown. Yeah, Monkey Poo Brown. Honestly, if I was to create a paint line, which I'm in no talks and I really am not in any position to create a paint line. But if I was to create a paint line, I think I would go for a very straightforward naming scheme. And I probably would come up. Well, I wouldn't want to give this idea away because if the opportunity ever does arise that I can create a paint line and name it and create the colors and stuff like that, you know, I think I'd rather keep most of it to myself until that day comes. But yeah, I'll just say that it would be very, very logical. It would be logical for a new person and also for more intermediate and advanced people to utilize. Its naming scheme would make sense. Again, it would be very logical. Straightforward and logical. And to the point. Kind of like me. Minus all the rambling. Like as if I'm the paragon of straightforward and to the point, right? Because I ramble all the time. Holy crap, it's already 1:30. Dark Commission episode 229. Canadian skinny dipping, a way to break the ice. It's not icy yet here. It's cold. It's getting cold, but it's not. The ground is actually. We had a bit of snow, but I don't think it's going to stay because the ground has not frozen yet. So, you know, so when you have about that couple inches of frozen earth, then that's when the snow stays. For anybody who's not from the north, but I mean like Aaron Seach, I mean like we could probably go on all day about, you know, how the snow stays and what kind of snow and our dealings with snow, color of snow. Here's a question for y'all. Okay, speaking of snow, and I'll let you guys ponder this for a bit. Okay, but here's a question for you. Okay, this goes for everybody, even if you have no experience with snow. But here we go. Okay, you guys ready? This is the question. Okay, so feel free to leave your answers down below. Where does the white go when snow melts? Okay, wintertime, it's all white, right? Where does the white go when snow melts? Jim White. Logical lilac sounds good. Dr. Xantos, paint names: blue, dark blue, not so blue. Definitely not blue, slightly blue. As much blue as green as black. Yeah, those are very logical, to the point kind of names. That's hilarious. That's good. That's a good one, Dr. Santos. Those are the paint names I would go with. Blue, dark blue, not so blue, definitely not blue, slightly blue, and as much blue as green is black. Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. That's too funny. You're making my eyes water now. Oh. Reziel, Kris, I'm open to suggestions on those Drukhari. They were basically drow elves, and I was thinking of mostly red armor. Any other ideas on some good armor schemes? Mean like the red armor and stuff? I don't know. it's really up to you as far as like what do you want to go with? I mean, like the vehicles. I think like with the vehicles. No, but those weren't your vehicles. What were we talking about? Thinking of mostly red armor. Yeah. Unless of course it's something you posted and I didn't see quite yet, or maybe it's the email we haven't quite seen yet. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Lord Krabby, Kris is the Doseki guy of paints. I don't create paints, but when I do, I rant. Yeah. I don't always create paints, but when I do, I go on for many hours on end, and you know. Steve McDemon, email time? Yes, it is email time. Reziel, this is a trick question. It is a trick question. Steve McDemon, snow doesn't melt. It goes to the dark side. Ooh. Sticky Diver, the white goes to Games Workshop. Biksu, back to the south. It goes to the white goes to the south. That sounds kind of racist. JP4W. Okay, JP, I mean, I'm just going to say JP. Screw it. For the plumes, they will be different shades of black to dark greens. The highlights, depending on the battlefield role. The blades, though, thought of standard bluish or like the Necron weapon, kind of. Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, I think blue would work out okay. I mean, with the gold green and the dark green of the capes, the plumes you could probably do them like, yeah, you don't want to do them red. That's kind of, you know, maybe a dark purple, maybe a light purple. The weapons are magenta, not quite red, but purplish almost. Just to play with the yellow and the green, that purplish red would play very nicely. Something to consider, anyway. Dark Commission, episode 229. I like my colors numbered, ordered, and enshrined in the UN Charter. The UN Charter. You know what? You're not wrong. JP, and which shade would work on a Turbo Dork Radium color shift custodes? I would assume Reikland Flesh Shade would give it a reddish tint. Yeah, that's a tough one too. Like I said, like, the color shifts work really, really well on larger surfaces, and you don't want to disturb the color shifting property, right? So when you start laying it on, even like, you know, like I did like the Stormcast guy, which had big kind of broad armor surfaces, even that is pushing it for me, because you want to have shadows and details and stuff like that, but you can only ever really use gloss. So with Radium, if you're going to use Flesh Shade, make sure you're using gloss Flesh Shade, right? Use the gloss version, because that way it won't kill that metallic luster of the color shift. And I would thin it down, and I would apply it deliberately in recesses. Do a recess shade, right? That's the way I would go about it, if you're going to do that. But yeah, because Radium has really fantastic warm tones to it, right? It's kind of brown and gold almost. It's I'm trying to think of what color. Do I have radium? Oh, I do have radium. Yeah, radium is gold brown, right? I don't even know how well this will show up on camera. Will this show up on camera? Not really. It almost has like a... It's not bouncing the right colors back. Because there's a gold, green, and brown at play on its surface. You see little green flecks. But it can be quite dark. But I mean, it's like a metallic, right? Yeah, you don't... The cameras just do not do these things justice, man. The human eye has to see it. So, but anyway. Stinky Diver, the white goes up Quirk's nose. I'm not even going to comment on that one. Nathaniel, Kris, as long as it's not in Gim's bathtub, well, he's in it. I don't care where the white goes. And this goes for everybody out there who's watching this after the fact. Leave a comment down below. Where does the white go when the snow melts? Lord Krabby, oh my god, been layering this war boss for 3 days now and almost frickin' finished so I can wash, dry brush, and highlights. GG, so detailed. GG, so detailed? XD. Exclamation. Alright. Okay, hold on here. Dark Commission, could you shade or lighten color shifts with metallics or pearlescent medium? The only way you can shade these color shifts is... I could be completely wrong, and Greg from Turbodor can probably correct me on this, but I would assume that it can only be done in the manufacturing process. That you have to create that highlight color and that shade color. Right? So if when they're mixing up a big batch of radium, they could take a pigment, however, because again, I mean, like, it's these pigments. It's the way these little flakes play together that give you this color shifting ability. And I mean, does it work the same with water-based acrylics as it does with lacquer-based paints? Again, these are outside my experience, so I have no idea. I'm not there in the manufacturing process and when these paints are put together. But I would assume that if you're going to get a highlight and a shade color, it's got to be done at the manufacturing process to preserve the color shifting, right? Because as soon as you lay anything on top of this color shift, you've killed it. You've killed the color. That's why when I'm showing highlighting and shading this stuff, it's very, very minimal, because I'm trying to preserve all that color shifting, and it's just the tiniest of edge highlights and tiniest of edge shading that I'm doing. So it's very, very, very minimal. I think to get, like, if you wanted to have like a broad surface and you wanted to have the shadows, like, imagine doing almost like a non-metallic metal effect where we have darker colors on top, lighter colors at the bottom. Imagine trying to do that kind of effect where you have the colors blending, so you're getting darker tones and lighter tones and then, you know, really light tones, right? And it all color shifts in that same value. I honestly do not know how one could do that other than affecting it at the manufacturing phase, where you created a brighter tone and a darker tone of that same color shift pigment and sold it like as a bundle. So you got 3 colors, you got a dark tone, mid-tone, and a light tone of that same color shift, so that you could create all your color shifting. Because adding a metallic is just adding a metallic. These aren't metallic flakes. Like, they're metallic flakes, but not in the same sense that metallic flakes are normally, because there's 2 different flakes at play, and if you throw in the 3rd flake, it just destroys that color shifting. You lose the color shift, as far as I can tell, because I tried it. You lose it. And, you know, shading and highlighting color shifts, right now it's just got to be done very minimally. And why would you want to put a big shade wash on top of the surfaces that wasn't a gloss on the surface? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of more experimentation can be done. I mean, like, it could very well be as simple as taking something like gloss Nuln Oil or gloss Reikland Flesh Shade or gloss Egg-Raxor Shade and slowly build up a darker gradient tone, right? Go with the true metallic vibe, but do a non-metallic metal effect, right? That might be entirely possible. I have not tried that. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it later. But yeah, so it's tough. Yeah, so yeah, even pearlescent mediums, dark commission, I'm not sure, because like even Liquitex pearlescent medium, the flakes in it are just too big. They're really huge. So yeah. Mad Maxim 81, hey Kris and Monkeys, long time no see. I couldn't be here for the beginning, but I would like to hear your opinion on the new Primaris Calgar and the thought that Primaris will replace the normal. I just go back to earlier into the show, and we actually talk about more of this Primaris and the Calgar model. I like. He's cool. He's a nice upgrade, you know. And I mean, if you never had the older ones and got this guy, he's awesome. He looks cool, you know. And Aaron Seach had mentioned earlier, you know, it'd be great to see a Pedro Cantor Primaris version. I'd snap that up immediately. I would snap that up immediately. Because you know what? I still haven't even painted mine. I have Pedro Cantor in Finecast, and I haven't even painted him up. But a Primaris version of him totally would paint him up in a hurry. Because I like Primaris Marines. I like them. They look cool. They're the right proportion for Marine. They're huge. They look awesome. You know, what's not to like about Primaris Marines? I don't know. What's not to like? I don't know. Other than the fluff surrounding them, you know. But yeah. And the thought Primaris will replace normal Marines? Oh yeah. It'll be slow and sure, but it's going to happen. Oh, Raziel's got to go. Later, dude. Dr. Santos, there are no capes, only misplaced ass flaps. How do you misplace an ass flap? What's a misplaced ass flap? Is that an ass flap that should be on your pants, but it's elsewhere? Or you had an ass flap for your pants, but you lost the flap, and so you're like, well, I don't know where the flap. Screw it, I'm going to work and my ass is out. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? Geofits on my Void Raven bomber. I did some cardboard crimson in the recesses. I didn't make much of a difference for me, so I didn't even bother with it on the Raiders and the Reapers. Interesting. And Dark Commission episode 229. Stare into the paint. Man, it's groovy. All right, it's time for another email because, holy crap, we got 17 minutes left of the show. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, whichever it is you prefer, but here it comes. Email time. Email time. Alrighty, email. This one is from our good buddy Eldari Lamborghini. He's got a monkey and a crown. Oh, it's a monkey crown. I get it. I get jokes. Here are a few pictures using the Turbo Dork blue raspberry color shift on the canopy for my hemlock. It was all applied by brush. I laid down first a gloss varnish and then many coats of paint in thin layers for your eyeballs' enjoyment. Cheers, Eldari, Zach. Now, as I mentioned, okay, hold on here. Let me change camera angles here because there we go. Okay, now hopefully we can zoom in. Are we going to be able to zoom in on this? Excellent. Now you can see. Now he said he used blue raspberry, and that one is a really freaking awesome color. It does exactly this. It shines blue and purple. It's really awesome color shift. It probably is the color shift everybody should get just to see the color shifting ability, because this one is so very different. There's another one that's really obvious color shifting. Do I have blue raspberry? Oh, shell shock. Shell shock is another one. It goes purple to almost a gold, almost gold green. It's really cool. Anyway, but if you're gonna pick up a really cool color shift, this is the one. Now he had the idea of using the color shift in the canopy, which I know I fully endorse. But the thing is that when doing the inside of the canopy, if anybody's ever tried to apply acrylic paint to the inside of acrylic of the canopies, you find that it does not have the viscosity to hang onto the surface, and it will bead up, right? And so what adverse effect that has on the color shifting, I'm not 100% sure, but it can't be good because it's just going to kind of slip and slide all over the place and not really adhere to the surface, right? So he applied a gloss layer first. Now that was to act as a surface for the color shift to grab hold of so he can get even coverage. And it looks like he got pretty even coverage here. And it looks really, really awesome. Let's go with another one. Yeah, see, he's giving us different angles here. But look, you can still kind of see through it. And that is the nature of this particular paint, is that it has to sit on top of a black. So if you're doing, if you're using this to do like armored surface or something like that, to get like that nice blue-purple look, which I would highly recommend. When you lay the paint down, you can kind of see how it looks a little slightly translucent, and that is a property of the paint. But it's designed to sit on top of black, and so you get this really contrasty blue and purple look on the surface. But yeah, for the canopy though, I think it looks fantastic. You get this slightly hazy look inside, but you get that color shifting on the outside. I think it looks really cool. Like these pictures, like they obviously do not do justice to what you're gonna get. But to the eye, I imagine this just looks wild. I mean, like these color shift paints are just too damn cool. And yeah, that's really, really wild stuff. I like it. Hopefully he didn't have too much trouble. I don't know if Eldari's still here, but hopefully he didn't have too much trouble laying that stuff down and getting it to adhere onto the surface. Oh, 3D glasses. Yeah, no, 3D glasses. Yes, Geo fits. Yes, you're absolutely correct. 3D glasses is also another great color. Dark Commission episode 229, the best 120 minutes of Turbo Dark advertising on the internet. Yeah, that might as well have been the title of the show today, because we've been talking a lot about Turbo Dark today. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's the way she goes sometimes. I mean, how many times have we talked about, you know, a particular model, a particular game, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it just happens, right? Kubla Khan! How do there, monkeys? I think everybody do well. I'm late, but I love you all. That's nice. Thank you, Kubla. Kublai Khan? Dr. Santos, misplacing an ass flap happens more often than you might think. Always check your ass flaps for the correct designated position. Yeah, because you don't want to put it on upside down or anything like that. But yeah. Eldari, yeah, there he is. It was easy to adhere with the varnish. Took a lot of layers, though. Lawyers. Took a lot of lawyers. Anyway, yeah. Eldari, layers. Should stop switching between this and my legal paper. Now I'll get your work done. You gotta get your work done, right? Geofits, I did mine on the outside of the canopy, but I think if you did it on the inside, do what he did and then cover the black back of it with a black gloss. Yep. A black gloss would be fine. I think you can probably get away with a matte. I think just black in behind it, yeah, will give you... Doing it on top, again, you could just lay down a gloss on top of it first, and then lay the paint down, or lay black on top of it, and then lay the ghost color shift, and then gloss it after, and then pick out the trim, you know? Whichever way you go about it, either one will work, because realistically, you're not relying on the glass property of the canopy, right? Other than if you do it on the inside, you preserve that thickness of the glass, and so it'll give you a bit of depth there, versus putting it on the surface, and it'll look completely opaque, versus doing it on the inside, it gives you that glass impression, right? So either one, you know, either one. Dark Mission, I have Turbo Dark paints coming soon. They'll be for the silk clothing on a Chinese warrior I'm painting next. Very awesome. Big Sue, the white from the snow goes into Oreo cookies and cream. Yeah, that's actually kind of fun. All right, let's do another. Oh man, we only got a few minutes left of the show. We only got a few minutes left of the show. My God, man, this is craziness. It's craziness. Where am I here? Let's go with this one. Right. Let's do another email. This one is from Clifford, aka I don't have an AK, so. But judging by his email, anyway. Clifford. Hey Chris, I'm usually not much of a painter. I aim for tabletop standard at best. Today, however, I wanted to make a special effort with this. It is all done with brush and wanted your opinion. Personally, I think I did a pretty decent job blending the orange into yellow, especially as it is my first proper attempt at it. Anyhow, have a look and tell me what you think. It still needs to be based. And so here, he's got his warrior. Let me switch cameras. There we go. And so, we got multiple pictures. Can we zoom in? Oh, we can zoom in too. Excellent. I think everything looks good. The blend actually looks pretty good. I think we could have threw a bit more highlights onto the yellows down below. I don't know if that's just the way the camera kind of looks or what, or maybe it's the low light situation, maybe, because that's the way this photo looks. It looks a little bit low light and it's kind of hard to see, things. But I mean, the paint job itself looks neat. It looks like paint should be where it should be. You know what I mean? Like details look like they're picked out properly. I see like the belt and the little charms along the bum, the harnessing on the head, the teeth, the gums, the edges of the cloth and the warrior. Everything looks good to me. I think it's an interesting color scheme. I like that he's an orange yellow with the blue purple of the cloak and the accenting colors of him. The blue purple. I mean, it's what, like either that's Nagrath Knight or that is another color that's not GW. Because I don't think GW produces a color like that anymore. That used to be like nauseating blue. Nauseating blue, yeah, which had like a blue purple to it. Anyway, I think everything looks good. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, see, this picture's a lot better. The yellow looks a lot more pronounced. I think I still would do a little bit of edge highlighting on some like around where the nails are and like just some of the ends of the toes kind of thing, just to really bring those out. It's not necessary. I think a little bit of edge or highlighting on the scales would be all right. Again, the warrior himself looks good. I think a little bit of highlights on the cloth of the robes and everything like that look good. I do like the color scheme though. I think that's an effective use of color. Again, like I said, the orange yellow, that really warm orange with that very cool blue purple almost look. It's a blue, but I mean, like, it's got that hints of purple in it. It almost looks like a navy blue. But again, I mean, like, it's kind of hard to tell. Because it doesn't, to me, I mean, it doesn't look like a GW color. I mean, like, if you told me that was Cantor Blue with Druchii Violet on top, then I might believe you, but yeah. I don't know, it doesn't look like a current GW color. Could be Cantor Blue, I suppose. Oh, maybe I'm going colorblind. But either way, Clifford, thank you for sending that in. Awesome stuff. The blends look fantastic. Your blends look great. I think it just needs more finishing. For example, like a little bit of edge highlighting into the yellows. The oranges, I don't know if it really needs anything. Personally, maybe something up near the spines, like the spines that run down the backside here, and the scales on the hindquarters and shoulders and stuff like that could use a little bit more treatment. Some highlights on the cloth of the warrior and his harness, sure, but I mean, paint looks like it's where it should be, and I mean, if you're normally going for a tabletop standard, this is a really good tabletop standard. The blends actually look really good. Like I said, you know, it's all good. It's all good, and yeah. I mean, obviously there is room to improve, but I mean, where you are right now looks good, and it looks like you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. And that in itself is usually a hard one for a lot of you know, younger painters, as it were, you know. So yeah, Nathaniel, this "where does the white go" question sounds like a dad joke. What time we got here? 5 minutes left of the show. Let's do another email. Let me get it set up here. Hold on, people. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. We're ready for another email. This one is from our good buddy, Steam McDemon. Hello, Monkey Prime. Optimus Prime? Monkey Prime? Over a month in the making, I present to you Lord Baron Leon in Warspite, the Beast of the North. I'm still not decided on whether I want to add some weathering. It would make him look like he's actually been through some decades of constant war. Decades or centuries? Millennia? But I kind of like the clean yellow look. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. Steve McDemon. And Gmail has failed me yet again. Gmail virus scanners are temporarily unavailable. That's what it said last week. That was some temporary my ass. This is some serious things here. I needs me some protection from potential viruses. Okay, first off, lovely picture. Awesome stuff. Nice and clear, nice and well lit. Not that I'm judging anybody on their photography. The color scheme, love the color scheme, love the color balance. It's got a really nice balance of yellow and black. The symbols look really, really great. They look like you highlighted them as well. Now, was it like a transfer and then you highlighted the transfer, or did you just freehand everything? If you freehanded this, that's wonderful. I like the little checker patterns on stuff. The banner looks great. The shield. Edge highlighting on the yellows. Yeah, I mean it's a very competent paint job. I like what you've done. Oh, this is all free-handed, man. Well, color me impressed. Okay. Really nice work. Nice freehanding. The eagle, the Imperial Eagle, is well balanced, so that's obviously well thought out, and obviously, you know what I mean. It looks like he started off with a light gray and then started laying the white in, or vice versa, one of the two. But either way, I imagine you probably worked from a gray to a white, just so that you can build the color up nicely. I like the skull on the left-hand shoulder pad. That looks good. The, what is that, like a lion, griffin kind of symbol or something? On the other shoulder pad, that looks good. Imperial Eagle looks fantastic on the other shoulder pad. Looks well balanced. See, like the eagle on the main body, on the main hull, it looks like you changed it up a bit and had like spread wings, kind of like a phoenix kind of thing. I think that's a cool idea. I think it works really well. Uses up the space nicely. Again, your highlighting looks really good. The black looks like you went with a primer and then just started building the paint up. It doesn't quite look like you base coated the black, which I would have done. I would have suggested you do. The metals look fine. Look at that fist. That fist is cool. Look at the barrel, the gun barrel on the left hand side. It's got the shit, I forget what we called it. The heat tempering on the barrel. I think we went on about this last week as well. Oh man, I forget. Yeah, that's wonderful. It looks really cool. The script looks good. Nice depth on everything. The freehanding is really good. Yeah, man, this is really awesome. It is a nice, clean paint job. I can see what you... Oh, yeah, I can see the heat treating on the exhaust as well. Or heat tempering. I can see what you mean by how nice it looks all clean like this. That's some really effective heat treating on that barrel. Heat tempering? I don't know. I freaking give up. The metallics look really good. Again, yeah, everything looks really, really clean. That barrel looks awesome, though. That's probably one of the best examples I've seen of that effect on the model. And Steam, I think I would love it. What was your process for doing the barrel? I would love to know what you did for the barrel. Because that's really just really nice. Really nice work. Oh, we even got a different arm for it. Cool. But you didn't do the heat treating on this barrel. How come you didn't do the heat treating on this barrel? Because he doesn't use it enough? Yeah, but I can see what you mean by, you know, oh yeah, you did it on here. That's very cool. You got a little bit of lava, pock lava in the crevices. Very cool. Very interesting. I like it. I like the idea. These little craters with like broken lava inside them. Very interesting. I do see what you mean by the cleanliness of the armor, right? Let's go all the way back here to the full picture of the dude. It's a tough call. It's a very tough call whether or not to you know, to ding him up a bit. Now, if you're only gonna do the one night, I say leave it. Leave it as is. Declare victory. You win. I would not do anything else to this guy. If you do another one, I would do it with some weathering. If you do another one like of the same house with the same similar markings and stuff, I think, yeah. Now, weathering this guy, you could do, I mean, it wouldn't be difficult, but I kind of like how fresh he kind of looks. He looks well maintained. He doesn't look fresh. He just looks well maintained. Yeah, I would leave it. If you do another one, then I would add the you know, the chipped armor and, you know, broken insignias and, you know, things of that nature. The weathering, I'd add the weathering. But otherwise, yeah, I think it looks fantastic as is. And realistically, I want to know how you went about that barrel for the thing, because that was really, really good stuff. Oh, Steve McDemon, he says the barrel is Seraphim Sepia, then Druchii Violet, and lastly Guilliman Blue. Well, there we are. That's it. Abaddon. Steve McDemon says it's Abaddon Black, and yeah, I went back and forth on the eagle on the carapace, so it looks a bit more muddled than the shoulder and the shins. Yeah, that's fine though. I mean, because you can always come back and kind of blend those out if you need be, right? So yeah. Big Sue, can we get a link to a gallery for this? Steve McDemon, I don't know if you're part of our Discord. I don't know if you are. I think you are. Post in the completed projects tab. And Bicky Sue, I can't say the name for Bickasu. I'm just gonna say Bick. Check us out in Discord. I don't know if you're part of Discord, but if you are already, then hopefully Steam will post it in the Discord. I think everybody, who have ever submitted emails and stuff like that, come to our Discord and post in there as well afterwards or before, whichever way, you know. Dark Commission, great painting, yes. Jabba's Left Nut, Chris, you need protection in this day and age. As I say to my son, strap it up before you slap it up. You're just trying to troll now. Dr. Xantos, those look like some freehand work. Damn, I'm jealous. Yes, Steve McDemon, that was some excellent freehanding. Excellent freehanding. And yeah. Oh yeah, Steve. Yeah, Steve McDemon says he's gonna post it in Discord. Yeah, post it in the completed projects channel, and post whatever you like in there. Whatever completed projects, and this goes, of course, for everybody. Post your completed projects, because everybody likes to see everybody's work, and you know what I mean. And this is, of course, the Discord has been fantastic because we've been sharing and we've been laughing and talking, and of course we're talking about anything and everything. It's way the brush. It's way the brush on Discord. You know what I mean? If you enjoy this environment, Discord is just more of that. So, yeah. So now I think I have one more email to get through. Methinks. Yes, I do. Yes, one more email. What time we got here? 5 after. We can quickly get through this one, and we kind of have to because it's my buddy, Old Man Logan, and of course things going off. Yes, Dr. Xantos, I see you, mate. Welcome to the club. Yeah. Yeah. So this is from our good buddy, Old Man Logan. Hi, Kris. At long last, I have finished my latest labor of love. And of course, he's I think he'll be posting these pictures as well. A commissioned Star Drake. Now, Old Man Logan has been working as a commission artist, and this is a commission he has been working on. I have helped him on Discord, behind the scenes kind of thing, because he's been asking personal questions about this, project, completing certain things. And so, he's finally done, and I'm seeing these pictures for the first time right now. How can a commission also be a labor of love, you ask? No, actually I don't. Because I can totally see how it could be. Well, even though I am getting paid, I put a lot of love into it. Please enjoy the pics and let me know your thoughts. I did notice a couple of egregious errors after looking at the pics, which I plan to touch up, but I did not want to hold off sending these to you for Weigh the Brush. Hopefully you can get to them. Thanks for your helpful advice, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Best regards, Old Man Logan. And so let's switch cameras here. So this is his latest commission. He did this as a commission piece for somebody. Can you believe the level, like the workmanship? Look at the scales. Look at the skin. Look at those wings. The gold even looks like... I think that's the way the light's playing on its surface. I think it was actual gold. But it almost looked like non-metallic metal effect at first, right? In the picture here. But like, look at this. He's done a fantastic job. If you paid a commission artist and they were bringing this kind of work to you, I think you'd have to go back to this person, wouldn't you? Now, mind you, he did get this done, I think, in a month or two. It hasn't been that long he's been working on it. The hardest part, I think, was he was having trouble with the wings doing the stars because the person who ordered this asked to have more stars. So, yeah, but I love the skin. Once he, because I saw all this before he had finished off with the little fingers that run through the wings. I was seeing before all that because that was where he was having just a wee bit of trouble. And so I'm glad to see that he got through it, everything. I love all the texture on that skin. The scales look fantastic. The horns, the highlights on those horns look awesome. Look at this thing. It's nice and clean. We got blends going on left and right. I mean, if you commission this, you would have to be pleasantly surprised. I know if I commissioned this and I got this back, I'd be very, very, very happy. I'd be very impressed. Yeah, I like that. I like that little thing he did with the horns. That little edging. Just that little edge running along the horns. Like, it's a nice transition on the horns, but I like that little edge. Yeah, the wings look really good. I see you managed to get rid of most of that uniformity in there. The stars look really good. Oh, you got it on both sides of the wings. Man, oh man. Love all the texture. Yeah, the wings look really good. I don't see any obvious errors. I have yet to see one. But, I mean, that's your eye looking at it. And we are often our own worst critics. Oh, I like how you did the sword. Like that. That looks like silver with like something like Gilliman blue on top of it. Or maybe a ghost tint on top of it. I could be wrong, but that's the way it looks to me. Looks really good. Yeah, the wings look really good. I like that. The customer, from what Old Man was telling me, is the customer wanted more stars on the wings. And that looks really good. Oh, I like how you did the edge highlighting on just the blades on the ends of the wings. That looks really cool. Doing that kind of scheme, I don't know if you realize it or not, Old Man Logan, but doing that kind of scheme like that, you're delving into the non-metallic metal look, where you have that color gradient and then the brighter edge along the darkest points. That's how really quick non-metallic metal's done. I don't know if you realize that or not, but yeah. Oh man, look at that. Yeah, it all looks really good. What I like is that there's, oh, you got that nice little glow going on inside the mouth. Very cool. What I like is that every aspect of the model looks like you used a paintbrush. It doesn't look like you airbrushed the whole damn thing, right? It doesn't look like it was airbrushed. Entirely airbrushed, I should say. You get some commission painters out there who, you know, they airbrush the hell out of everything, and they do a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. But it's obviously airbrushed. Whereas this looks like I know that you used an airbrush for a majority of stuff, but it doesn't look like it was airbrushed for a majority of stuff, which is really good. Like the transitions on the horns, like I'm thoroughly impressed on how you did the nails, the horns, the spikes on the ends of the wings, all the little scales. You know, I'm thoroughly impressed with that, and that's really the kind of things, because I mean, like, it's obviously not done by an airbrush, and that's what, you know, gets you know, top marks from me, kind of thing. Like, you know, it's really good. Very nice work, old man Logan. Excuse me, getting all dry here. Very nice work, old man Logan. That's impressive, and I'm sure your patron, I guess it technically is your patron, will be very pleased with that piece. Dr. Xantos, I'd be overjoyed to receive that. I would too. Honestly, I would, if I was commissioned out something, which I've never done. As I get older, I might, just because, you know, time. Steve McDemon, those wings. I know the wings, right? Eldari cries in Eldar. Dark Commission. Wow, that's damn good. Yes. Jabba's left nut. Holy shit, that's amazing. Yes, it is. Jim White, great painting. It is great painting. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Hella wicked paint job. It is. Steve McDemon, those horns are so good. Somehow I can never get gradient right. And that's the thing. Like, you know, old man Logan, he's always looking to improve his painting. Old man goes to a lot of sources for info and stuff like that. One of them being myself. He asks questions and, you know, things of that nature. And I happily answer all his questions. I mean, you know, and he is obviously becoming a much better painter really, really quickly, right? And, you know, it's fantastic. You know, other cats like Johnny Wraith and, you know, I mean, all you guys that send in pictures. I mean, like, you know, I can see, you know, you guys becoming much better. Steve McDemon, you know, Steve McDemon's another one that, you know, it's obvious that the painting, I mean, that Imperial Knight, compared to earlier paint jobs we were seeing from Steam was sending in a lot of World War II kits as well, but, you know what I mean? Like, that Imperial Knight was awesome. I'm kind of surprised, Steam, actually, you didn't kind of give him the World War II treatment. Painted up like a World War II kit, you know? I'm surprised nobody's really done that. Like, painted up kind of like, you know, how kind of like a battered Sherman would look in those battle greens, you know, battered up, white logos, you know? I think that'd actually be a very cool paint job on a knight. It's like, make it look like a World War II tank. I think that'd be cool. Shh, don't tell anybody. Ravenev, hi Kris. I have a huge problem making transition between Nightgaunt Gloom and Uthran Grey on my Underworld's Briar Queen warband. Any advice? Nightgaunt Gloom. Now that is more of like it's a thin bodied kind of shade wash, right? And Uthran Grey. If you're having trouble getting the transitions, okay, here's one thing I would suggest. Get yourself some Lamian Medium. Hopefully you already have some. Okay, take a little bit of Nightgaunt Gloom, put it onto your palette. So you're base coating in Uthran Grey, right? You're base coating in Uthran Grey, and you want to apply your Nightgaunt Gloom. Take a little bit, like take a drop or two, put it onto your palette. Hopefully you're working from a palette. Put a drop or two onto your palette. Add a drop or two of Lamian Medium. Mix that up. It basically will thin the color down without changing its properties too much. And then very lightly go over almost the entirety of the surface. Very, very lightly. If it pools up in recesses, draw it out of those recesses. Use your brush and, you know what I mean? Like, and soak it out of those recesses. Don't let it build up in those recesses. Let that dry. Then, you know, 7/8 of the way, do another layer of that same mixture and build that up. Or down, whichever way you're working, right? But again, don't let it build up too much. Don't let it start building up until you get closer to like the folds and underneath creases and, you know what I mean, under neck and, you know, in the eye sockets and stuff like that. And start to let it build up darker. And as you're doing that, be mindful of your brush stroke. So you where you want the color to get darker, finish your brush stroke at that point. So like, for example, if the detail's running this way and you want it to be brighter down here and you want it to be darker over here, draw your brush in that direction. Okay? If you want it brighter here and darker here, do not go in that opposite direction. Finish the brush stroke. Brush strokes do matter, and finish your brush stroke in that direction and finish off where you want the paint to be darkest. And in fact, you know what you're doing? You're glazing. It's a bit more of a nuanced, some people consider an advanced technique. It's only advanced because there is a lot of nuance to it in control. But you're working with, I believe, a shade wash, which is like working with glazes anyway, but you're only breaking it down a little bit and you're just slowly. So as you build those layers, now, of course, if you're working on a character and you want to have that really nice gradient, I would suggest this. If this is just for all your little duders, not so much, right? So you can get away with 1 or 2 kind of layerings, but with the character, yeah, you want to build a couple layers and slowly build up that gradient, right? And you can do that. And then, of course, if you find that the brighter edges, like say if you're building the darkness upwards into like, you know, recesses and shadows and the high points and stuff like that, and you're having the brighter colors down below or on the high points, like on the top of the head, and you have darker in the eyes kind of thing, you can always come back in with Ultramarine Gray, thin that down just a little bit and apply it just at the high points of where you want it. And then also you could come in with some white and just kind of lightly edge some points and stuff like that. And hopefully that helps, right? So Ravenev, hopefully that helps and it gets you motivated to do a little bit more. Now it's a lengthier process, but again, like I said, if this is your general, if this is going to be like the centerpiece of your army, take the extra time and build that gradient up slowly. And of course, like I said, so if you're thinning it down, you're going to have to do many, many layers. So if you're like, you know, 7/8, then it's like 6/8, 5/8, half, you know what I mean? And you're slowly building up those gradients and you're getting a nice transition going. It sounds like a lot of work and it's tedious, and it is, but that's often why, even when we're doing tabletop standard, we spend that extra time on the character models and not the rank and file. The rank and file stuff, you can continue on kind of like how, you know, GW describes using that stuff, right? But if you really want to build up a nice gradient, yeah, that's the way I would go. So hopefully, Ravenoff, that helps. Dr. Xantos, I love looking at how you monkeys have gotten good at painting. Makes me jealous as heck. Well, don't be jealous. Just, you know, endeavor to practice, you know? I mean, you might not get a lot of practice time, but whenever you do sit down, you know, try and, you know, advance yourself, you know? Or just relax and paint, whichever. You know, but don't feel jealous. My God, man, you know? Jealousy leads to the dark side. Job was left nut. Kris, before you wrap up the show, I sent 2 emails this afternoon. Can you tell me if you've received them? I can. You sent 2 emails. Okay. Hold on here. Bubble, I lost place there. Who asked me this? Job was left nut. Job was left nut. Is your name Paul? If it's Paul, then yes, I got it. I did get him. I got them this morning. But I think Old Man Logan is the end because everything else I got was today. And so we can hang on to those till next week. And the last one I got was from Ben. But I also got one from Kris. Yes, Kris. Yes. So, and we are 20 minutes overdue. So, yeah, we are going to end it there because otherwise I'll just keep going. People keep sending me more and more. Dr. Xantos, Kris, I'm already deep in the dark side. True enough, right? Ravenev, I've used water instead of Lamy and medium. Effect was very disappointing. I will try with Lamy and medium. Thank you. Yeah, try it with Lamy and medium because it won't change the properties of the color too much. Whereas water breaks down the surface viscosity and it ends up beating up, especially if you've over thinned it. And from what I understand, I've not used it myself. Or do I have it? Do I have it? I don't know. Anyway, it is a very thin. It's kind of like the shade washes, except it's a color, right? So. But yeah, Lamy and medium it will be your friend in this instance. Do like a 1-to-1 mix. So if you have 2 drops, put 2 drops of medium. Thin it up and apply a light layer. Don't let it build up too much in recesses until you're getting closer to just pure night gaunt. Yeah, when you're using the pure night gaunt, then go ahead and let it creep into recesses. And but at that point you're using very little of it. So yeah. Steve McDemon, haha, I actually planned on doing a night like my tanks in olive drab with US military insignia and stuff, but it's been so long since I did any heavy metalish paint job that it was kind of itching. Yeah, definitely. I would like to see paint it exactly. Okay, this may seem kind of weird. Paint it exactly as you would a model, like your World War II tanks, how you would go about that process for creating realistic looks of it. Paint it in that same fashion. Don't paint it like we do miniatures. Don't do edge highlightings and stuff like that. Paint it like you would a World War II model. And I highly recommend this for everybody out there as well. Because because doing model kits and like the realistic model kits, like World War II and blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And I highly recommend this for everybody. And go about it the way that scale modelers paint their models. Completely different world, changes your whole thinking about how we will go about a lot of processes and such. Alrighty, I think I'm done. Eldari, I'm hoping off to Discord for a bit before I get back to homework. Yeah, we often head over to Discord after the show on Saturdays, just for a little bit of chatting and talking and laughing and giggling but it is definitely not for the weak. And if you are a younger person, you might hear some colorful expressions, so beware. So if you are brand new to this hobby and you want your question answered, you have a painting scheme you're having trouble with, you just need some help with some techniques, or you're a commissioned painter and you want to show off what you're working on, you want to drum up some extra exposure, or you just need help in whatever aspect of this hobby that we all know and love, you need anything like that, of course, ask your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below, and I will happily answer your questions on the show or in person, whichever, or not in person, but personally. If need be, if you send me an email and you say, well, I don't want this read on Way the Brush, but I still want some help, ask there. That's fine. Of course, you can also join us on waythebrush.com. That is the central hub of all this silliness that has the links to the Discord, the Instagrams, the Twitter, and the Facebook page. It has all those links for all that stuff. It's a central hub of all this. So if you want to join us any which way, place, post your questions. You can post your question on the Facebooks. You can post on Instagrams or whatever, right? So whatever, just join us on waythebrush.com. Again, like I said, it's the central hub of all this. And of course, if you want to help the cause, it has links for t-shirts. Get yourself this t-shirt, Way the Brush, like this, or of course, or you can get the monkey. Where's the monkey? Monkey's over here. The monkey's right there. You get the little monkey logo as well. T-shirts help the cause, and of course, they help make you look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this universe. It makes you look a lot smarter. Some people, you can put on a pair of glasses and they look smarter. It's like that. You put on a Way the Brush t-shirt, you immediately look, hey, that guy's a painter. He knows his stuff. I'm going to ask him a question. So, and of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, please send me a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I can add it to the Monkey Shrine. Monkey Shrine is also on waythebrush.com. If you just click Monkey Shrine, you'll see pictures of all the monkeys wearing their shirts in various locales all around the world. And yeah, and of course, it's just a fun place for all you guys to kind of, get an idea of what other monkeys look like, right? So it's really, really fun. Of course, waythebrush.com also has links for the patron page. Patron support has been fantastic. It has been a way I've been able to upgrade and upkeep a lot of services that I've been doing on this show and things of that nature. And it has been really fantastic. And you know, again, like I said, like prize support and stuff like that. It's just been, you know, it's how I afford all these things for the show. And of course, like I said before, Way the Brush, I only ever charge for the episodes of Way the Brush I create. I do create other videos, but I only ever charge for Way the Brush. So, and of course, there's only like what four or 5 weeks in a month. So I only ever charge, you know, 4 times a month. Right. So if you're considering contributing to Patreon, that's I think you get an idea of how much you would like to contribute as on that per basis kind of thing. And of course, you know, again, I always thank everybody for their Patreon support. And, you know, again, like I said, it really helps out. It's not like, you know, it's keeping the lights on or anything like that, but it does allow me to build this to be a better and bigger thing and to make this a lot more fun. And yeah, so I'd like to thank all the patrons. Of course, if you want to help the cause and help support, and you can't really afford, you know, Patreon or, you know, buying a t-shirt, that's fine. Okay. That's fine as well, because clicking the like, commenting, sharing this video, subscribing, following on Twitters or what have you, whatever way, those also help as well. So, you know, those are really minor as well. So, you know, basically, yeah. So, is that the ending spiel? Is that the ending spiel? No other final points anybody wants to raise? I know somebody's going to ask something crazy, but, yeah, we already had Dark Commission, we had a title. We've got a title. It didn't show up on the YouTube. I don't know why it's not showing up on the YouTubes, but, I did change it. It's on the YouTubes. Yeah. Because it was Thicc Tips with Kris. That's what it is. Thicc Tips. Because they were thick, man. We were all about the thickness today. Oh, man. You guys are too much. Anyway, yeah, we're going to head over to Discord for a little bit afterwards. I also have a meeting with a monkey as well, so I'm probably not going to be on Discord too much. Well, I'll be on Discord, but I'm going to be elsewhere on Discord. So, yeah. Nathaniel, episode 229. Insert immature content here. That would be pretty much every title of the show, I think. Stinky Diver, we have an appointment, sir. Yes, we do, Stinky. We do. And we are going to do that in a moment. I think that's the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this video. I've got nothing else. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys. Oh, I won't. No, I won't see. I probably won't. I might do a show next Saturday. But it's kind of a special occasion next Saturday. Again, some of you guys guessed it right. What the reason is. I'm not going to say it because then it just gets a little hilarious. And so, yeah. So there might not be a show next week. I might do a show. I might not. It all depends. Don't be surprised if you do or don't see me next week. Right? So, yeah. And, of course, also, again, leave a comment down below to my question. Where does the white go when snow melts? Okay? Think on it.